Lesson number 52, an 8th lesson on the major line segment series. We are learning JavaScript and we are learning JavaScript by examples. In this series, we are trying to recreate this application, which is available on this website here. And this application has a number of SVG images and there are some line segments. Students have to measure the length of these lines and provide their response in these input fields. So 5 centimeter, for example, for this one. And when I type in an answer, I get a response with a tick or a cross. In today's lesson, we have to learn how to provide a response with a tick or a cross within these input fields. So this is a slightly modified version of what we are seeing here, just because it is a bit simpler for students to understand. If I type in an answer, I get a response as a text message that says correct or wrong. So I will change the size of my browser. And this is the folder that has our HTML documents. This is the last document that we created for our last video, and this is exact copy of it for today's lesson. There is a folder called images. If I double click on it, we have some images, tick and cross, and they are PNG images. So I will right mouse click and open this with my text editor. And we have our text editor and the browser side by side, so we know what we are doing. So the line of code that is responsible for producing this text is here, and I will simply remove this. Correct, because we are going to replace it with the tick symbol or cross symbol, and this is the line of code that is responsible for producing for this text that says wrong. So if I save it and refresh it and type in an answer, I don't have correct or wrong coming in front of me. And we have to provide a tick or a cross as a response. So we have done this in past several times. So we have done this with the help of classes. So I will create a class. I'll press enter in the style area, which is our CSS area. So I'll type in a dot. And this is how you create a class, and I will say tick CSS, and opening curly bracket and a closing curly bracket, and I will say background image, and we want to use the background image in this folder, tick, and I will go back to my text editor and I will say URL within bracket double quotation dot / images folder, and then the name of the PNG image, which is tick.png. And we also have to say, because this is a very small area, we don't want by default images repeat, so I will say background repeat, no repeat. I will also have to define the size of the image, and I will say background size, and 25 pixels should be more than enough. So we have created a CSS class that is calling this image tick PNG, and it has these properties as well, but we have to call this class within our JavaScript to make this tick available here. So I will go into this if statement that has the response as a correct answer. So there are two different ways that we have used in past to apply a CSS class, and just to refresh, I will show you both the methods. So I will say result dot set attribute and single quotation class, and the name of the class is that we have just created is tick CSS. So that should do the trick. So if I save it and maximize it, refresh my browser, type in a response 2 centimeter, we get a tick, but it is overlapping on the text. So we can fix that easily. I'll change the size of my browser one more time, and all we have to do is to go back into our class, and I will say background position and right. So if I save it, maximize the browser, refresh it, and type in a response 2 centimeter, we have a tick, and the input field has become disabled and the cursor has moved into the next input field. So that part is now working. So the next thing is that we create a similar class for cross in case the answer that has been provided is wrong. So I'll copy this and I will paste this here, and I will change the name of it. I will say cross, and the image should be cross.png, which is this one, and the name of the image is cross. So I then will have to copy this line of code, and then I will go to the else area in case if the answer that has been provided by the user is wrong. I will paste this and I will call cross CSS this time. So if I save it, maximize the browser, refresh it, type in a correct answer 10 for example. For this one we have a tick, and I will type in a wrong answer 8 centimeter, and we have a cross as a response. So we can further change the size of this cross. It looks too big, so we can go back to the CSS style and I can say 22 for example. Save it, refresh my browser, type in a wrong answer 14, and we have a cross that is much smaller. If I type in a correct answer, we have the tick as a response. So the second method that we have used in past to apply a CSS class is, instead of using set attribute, we can simply say result dot class list dot add, and I can say single quotation tick CSS, and I will comment this out. So this line of code will still work, which is a different method of applying a CSS class. So if I save it and maximize the browser, refresh it, type in an answer 19 for example, we still have the tick symbol appearing. So in this lesson we learned how to make this tick symbol available, or any image available as a background image within an input field, and that is now for today, and I hope you learned something. So this is it for today, and I will start a new project. I will stop this project here, because if I go back to the actual application, we have learned about this progress bar in past, and we also have learned how to calculate a score. So we will start with a new exciting project in the next lesson. Thank you very much.